So I'm going to be interviewing the Human Resources Assistant at UJA. I'm actually not feeling all that nervous for my interview. I was able to speak with the Human Resources Assistant at UJA last summer very briefly, just in order to learn a little bit more about the company and the idea of fundraising and event planning and how they go hand in hand. I also want to make sure that I'm asking appropriate questions as far as applying for either this job, a job at this company, or a similar job. I'm very interested in learning more about the company, and I'm sure my questions and Rachel's answers will give me that insight. I'm looking forward to this interview, and I think it will be really cool to speak with her again. And this interview will help me decide if working at UJA is something I'm very passionate about or if I'd like to explore other fields. I'm also very interested in learning more about the work environment there and the fundraisers they're currently doing. So hopefully this interview goes well.
So my first question is at what point did you know you wanted to work in human resources?
So prior to working in human resources, I had several internships in the hospitality field, and many people look at that as, that's so strange. You worked in hospitality and hotel management, and then you transition to human resources. But to me, I see the intersection between the two, because hospitality deals with managing people, guests, their expectations, and ensuring that everyone's had a good stay or a productive meal or an enjoyable visit. And human resources is essentially ensuring that employees are having a satisfactory or excellent job experience. We don't only do benefits and manage pensions, but we also maintain and look after the welfare of all of our employees. And so my reason behind getting involved in human resources was that I wanted to be a part of the entity that was really ensuring that employees were satisfied in their jobs and had a high level of retention rates and wanted to be at the organization, because I think that happy employees make a productive and successful organization.
So do you think this is a field that you'll be staying in for the long run?
I'm looking into going to graduate school, and I'm not sure that I'm going to stay in human resources, but it's definitely been a learning experience thus far.
Can you tell me a little bit about UJA's culture and how the company feels?
So UJA has a very open corporate culture. We do our best to, break down silos within the organization and make sure that everyone's happy. So we often have meetings between lower level staff and executives to sort of make it feel like an open atmosphere, and I think that we do a good job of it. We really have a focus on breaking down silos. It's critical to our mission, and the fact that UJA is a nonprofit organization and all of the employees work together to attain the objective. I think that being united in our mission is what really makes it, productive and an open culture.
Is there a lot of growth within UJA?
There's a lot of growth if you want to stay on the fundraising track, as majority of the organization is fundraisers. However, in a lot of the service roles, there's not necessarily as much growth. However, we always try to promote internally if the opportunity presents itself. That's like our main objective.
So as the HR assistant, what are your typical responsibilities?
So I'm in the role of HR assistant because it's the typical role for an entry-level position right after graduating college. I graduated from the University of Michigan, and then now I work at UJA. I report directly to the Vice President of Human Resources, the Director of Human Resources, and the Director of Benefits and Pension. So I have a bunch of different roles. For the Director of Human Resources, I work with her a lot with employee programming, and I run and manage the new hire orientations that we conduct often. And I also am actively involved in the recruitment process, as she is in charge of the recruitment for all professional level staff. So for the Vice President of Human Resources, I do a lot of employee programming. I'm currently spearheading a program called Community Interns, where we're bringing in several interns across different departments. The interns have a variety of learning, social issues, predominantly autism, and we're giving them valuable work experience. And with the director of pension, I work with her with coordinating with our record keeper, which is Milliman.
So that you mentioned that you went to the University of Michigan. What did you major in, and did your major have anything to do with nonprofit work?
I majored in global health, not necessarily related to human resources. However, I would definitely like to get back into the field of global health. And yes, it definitely had, not to say definitely a lot, but it had tons to do with nonprofit, or at least I studied development in different countries, developing countries a lot, and there's a lot of service and action that goes on there from Western cultures. Some of it good, some of it bad, all a byproduct of, colonization and needing to go in there based on the World Health Organization incentives.
So how is the success of the employees measured at UJA?
We conduct annual reviews. So each supervisor has to review their employees and submit the reviews directly to the Vice President of Human Resources. If you score over a 4.0, then you're awarded an extra performance day that you can take at your discretion. And obviously, we do issue salary increases around February.
Can you explain how a typical UJA fundraiser goes?
A fundraising event?
Yes.
So I'm not involved in fundraising, so I really couldn't tell you. I'm in a service department, so we're not actively involved with the fundraisers. I understand that UJA is the largest local nonprofit in the world, so they bring in a ton of money. I think last year they closed the campaign at $230 million. So they definitely have fundraising events going on every single day of the year, except for holidays. There is a fundraising event every single day of the year, and the campaign is bringing in the most money around April and May. But there are events nonstop. The events target different groups. So, for example, the Wall Street dinner was last week, and based on alone, you can tell who was invited to that event, and had around 2,000 attendees. There's tons of planning that goes into that, obviously, but they had the keynote speaker was Michael Douglas, and it was very well attended.
So when hiring a new employee, what does UJA typically look for?
It depends on the position, but obviously we're looking for someone who has the kind of work experience that we need for the position. Someone who feels connected to our cause and would like to help, someone who's ambitious, hardworking, someone who's willing to work for a nonprofit organization and all that entails. So yeah.
So I saw that there's an event planning position open. Can you tell me a little bit about the job description?
Sure. The event planner position is in the conference and banquets department, and the person who gets the position will report directly to the director of the conference and banquet center. The event planner will work directly with UJA Federation's development staff, so our fundraisers, on 50% of all fundraising events that take place outside of our main location. He or she will be responsible for the event planning aspects of fundraising events, as well as coordinating special projects to enhance important organizational and develop departmental systems and procedures. So there's certain responsibilities that they'll have to adhere to. So the event planner will have to ensure staff compliance of all conference and banquets operating policies and procedures, and those are extensive, but I'm not privy to many of them. The event planner will have to maintain and update all assigned computer files in the departmental system, coordinate special projects to enhance important systems and procedures, update department information as necessary. They'll have to manage off-site events and the event planning and logistics, including extensive site research, visits, venue and menu selection, comparative cost and pricing analyses, entertainment and decor. They'll have to maintain quality relationships with our existing vendors as well as research new vendors who could provide even more cost-effective and creative services and that meet our standards. They'll have to provide timely, accurate, and comprehensive communication to all relevant parties and vendors during the process. They'll need to be able to negotiate prices with selected vendors and pricing to appropriate staff, review event-related contracts with legal department, which is very critical. They'll have to attend off-site events, review invoices with accounts payable. They'll have to maintain organized event files, coordinate high-profile events at our internal conference center on the 7th floor of the building. They'll have to prepare reports and obviously other projects as assigned by the supervisor. There's certainly certain qualifications that we're looking for and competencies. We need a bachelor's degree for this position, preferably with hotel or restaurant management experience, or a degree is even better. The event planner will need to have 2 to 3 years of related work experience in event planning management and banquet management, proven customer service skills, excellent oral and written communication skills. Familiarity with major New York City venues is definitely a plus. Negotiation experience with hotel catering departments, caterers, and event-related vendors. This is really critical because all of our on-site and off-site events need to be kosher, so familiarity with kosher dietary laws is a plus. And, strong administrative and time-related management skills, ambitious, proactive, team player, ability to work evenings on occasion and some weekends, demonstrated ability to work independently, and strong knowledge of Microsoft Office and internet research capabilities. I believe that basically covers the position, so if you know anyone, send them our way.
So those are all my questions. You're actually very, very knowledgeable about UJA, and I can see why you got the human resources position. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
That's all. Thanks so much for your interest in UJA and your support.
Thank you.
So the interview went pretty well in my opinion. It was more about UJA and the job description than what the event planner actually does. Because seeing as Rachel works in HR and not event planning, she doesn't know all the information. She just knows the general job description. She can't truly tell me what they do on a day-to-day basis. But I really liked what Rachel had to say about the company, and I really enjoyed the way she answered my questions. So I think this is definitely something I'm very interested in, and it has really shown me that I do think I want to pursue a career in fundraising and event planning, and UJA or a company similar like that would be a great place to work. I'm very passionate about helping others and find event planning fascinating and fun, which is why I believe this company and job would be a great fit for me. The only thing that I did not like about the interview is I felt that some of my questions were a little too rushed by the way I asked them, not by her. But it was really nice to be able to speak with someone who actually works at UJA, which I think is the company I'm most interested in as of now. While I definitely would not say the interview was perfect, it was very easy to speak to Rachel. I don't know if it's because she's young or maybe because she made the interview feel casual, but it seemed very natural. There are certain aspects that I could definitely still improve on in my interviewing style. Like I said, I ask my questions too quickly sometimes and almost stumble over them, which is something I definitely need to work on. Regardless, I do still think it was a very good interview, and she certainly gave me a lot of information about UJA that I didn't know before.